Yo, hello again. Welcome to a special episode of the Thirsty Nerds, where we are going to do a comics discussion. First one of these we had in a while. And we are going to review the Vantage Comics line by Victor Dandridge. We're going to talk about these books that was the Kickstarter, I believe, was wrapping up. And we got ahead and got some copies so we could do a review for it. And that's what we're going to talk about here today.
Yeah, shout out to Victor, for sending us the free comics.
Always appreciate it.
Yes.
That being said, how we like to do business here, we're going to go over this comic, talk what we liked about it, what we didn't like about it, and we'll go from there, see if we want to recommend this thing or, see what's going on. So we're going to go ahead and start now. We're going to be reviewing 3 books today, starting with The Trouble with Love by Victor Dandridge and Harold Edge. This book, to me, presented a compelling character-driven
dilemma.
Story point. Yeah, dilemma.
Yeah.
That's a tough one to be in, man. Like that's that's yeah, that's a real.
It's real. It definitely makes you, happy not to be in that sort of situation and everything, because I mean, okay, we'll be to be honest, who we would say what we want to do, what we would do in that situation, but you don't know.
Right.
And it kind of puts in kind of interesting perspective, because I noticed this character. I don't know anything about the universe of Vantage Comics and what have you. But
there's a Vantage universe.
I'm guessing so.
Yeah, it seems like the plan is like to span out like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought there was like a lot. Like, oh man, I feel like everyone knows something I don't.
No. But I noticed it's like a Superman-esque character.
Yeah.
He's truth, justice for all, what have you, and he was put in a situation that was, very very troubling.
Yeah.
It's like the title, troubling with when it comes to love and who you love, and
Yes.
making very very lose. Honestly, it feels like I get it. He made a choice and everything, but it feels like a lose
situation
no matter what.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a real tough spot to be in.
Yeah.
And, for the character of Apex Prime, which would be our lead character, the superhero, is confronted by his son, who has just been through a thing with his mom, without spoiling as much, and he has come to confront his father, and we learned that his father has since long moved on, and the son takes issue with that. He blames his father for everything that went wrong in his life, and rightfully so. This is, like I said, this is a super complicated situation for this character to be in. He doesn't make excuses for himself. He explains his actions. And that's where our compelling character moment is that back and forth about where the state of everything is since he made the decision to do what he did with his family. And boy, Harold Edge does a decent job drawing these books. For what it's worth, I was definitely the story and the panels definitely matched. Like it moved along. There were some almost like Static Shock. Mm-hmm. There were some panels and pages that worked a lot more than others. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, putting these things together, sometimes you just got to go what the best option was at the time, and it looks like he did put his best foot forward.
Yeah. So I felt like the art is actually pretty. Especially with the story and everything, I thought it was done really well, and I liked the pacing with the dialogue and the narration and everything. Because if you've watched any of our other comic book discussions, or hell, even the comic book reviews and what have you, like I personally I've been noticing no one really knows how to use the page or use panels for when they're giving out exposition to make it interesting. Because it's a visual media, and you have to take advantage of that, or at least have it in a neutral way where it doesn't take away from the story. Instead of having like literally 2-page splash
blobs
of just explanation, like with Spawn or fucking or that event that happened with DC, with
the death metal, Dark Knight metal.
Yeah, the huge panel of like it's ridiculous. But this one. Because a lot of it is just like both of them telling their sides of the story. The son telling what he went through when he was gone, and what the father, telling his son about why he made the decision that he did and such. So it was, I have to say, it was very, very, it was done very well.
Yeah, super. It was definitely compelling. Like it got me through the 32 pages.
Yeah,
it was a fast read. It was paced to be fast. It feels like I hope it was paced to be fast. And
I mean, the fact that you were able to get to it, I think that's a win, because you don't want to just sit in something too long.
Linger. Yeah,
well, it depends. Do you want things to read fast? Do you want your readers to contemplate something while they're reading it? How much time do you really need to set up a situation, an area? It depends on what it is.
Yeah, it really does. Because like Vinyl before it, just say what you have to say, and if your runtime's short, okay, be done.
Yeah.
Close it up and leave. And they did that. And I think this book also, like we were mentioning, uses its pacing very well to say what it has to say. And I did like the story for the first book with Trouble with Love. Moving on to
our critiques.
Yes, moving on to our critiques. It is presented to me, and I think I understand how difficult that situation must be. Obviously, we all said that we don't know exactly where we would be in that situation or what we would do until we unfortunately would have to do it. That being said, I'm here, but I don't necessarily have to like the choices that are being presented. I didn't come off liking... I didn't walk away with an appreciation for Apex Prime. I'll say that.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
He feels very, he feels like he's kind of accepted that this is what he's explaining. I wouldn't be surprised if he's practiced this in his head.
Yeah.
This is the reason why I did it. And it's, yes, I fucked up, and there's consequences for it, but this is what I accepted this, which is fine for him because he has to accept what he did.
Right.
But when you explain this to your son, who in the beginning of the story is shown that he's basically he's has some sort of weapon, which a grave that was never explained if it could kill Apex Prime or not. Like, if he just has some weird gun, and I'm like, okay, are we gonna get to what this gun is and stuff? But we never do, unfortunately. But no, well, you have a son who, mind you, Apex Prime left his son and his ex-wife, when he was maybe 3 years old.
Well, I believe the explanation, though, was even though he tried his best efforts to be a part of his son's life, the mother would not allow it.
I mean, true,
but he's also Apex Prime, so.
Are you going to stop me?
I feel like if we're doing what we've done so far, I don't see how that one would be a stretch. So I'm just gonna pop in and see him every once in a while.
It's going to happen.
It's gonna happen.
He watched all his baseball games from a million miles away.
That was a nice touch.
I'm going to show it. I'm kind of surprised that why didn't we go to court?
Yeah,
that's why the court system's there. So hey, now that he's gone and stuff, we can probably share custody of the child and everything. But
she wasn't of sound mind and body. She drank herself to death. No,
well, if that's the case, he could have just got custody of her. If that was the case, you know what I mean? If they went to court, he really wanted his son. Why didn't he really fight for him?
You know how movies do this thing where they try and make it seem like the struggling parents are just having a hard time, so they'll send over a child services for some reason to inspect the place. I'm surprised child services never once came to, because the state of the mom's apartment was child services would have, if they seen this anywhere between from the age 3 to whatever to 14 16 17, he would have been up out of there.
And how old was this kid? Didn't he knew the telltale signs that his mom wasn't all right, so why wouldn't he try to get the kid and the mom some help?
I don't know. Maybe
that wasn't the story that was trying to be told.
That wasn't, obviously not, but then if you present these factors in the story, it leaves a lot of things to question.
It goes into a lot of tangents.
It goes in a lot of tangents because there's so many questions, why this, why that. And unfortunately, as much as I do like the storytelling, and I do like this, I don't mind the situation because it brings in a superhero in a very awkward and very 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 particular situation where there's no good guys or bad guys.
Right.
It's them trying to explain what he did for himself, for his family, and what have you, and the consequences of his choice. But when you bring in all these situations and stuff, having a parent who, left their kid and the ex-wife and everything, and then to completely decide to just not be there in their lives. I say decide because there was ways. Yeah, the mother probably didn't want him around. Oh, you know what? I forgot. There was an explanation, and I'm sorry, Victor, if you're watching this. The reason why is because she threatened to release his identity if he would ever be a part of his life ever again, something like that.
Right, and obviously, but
even then, it's like
the only part where I come into that is like, okay, that is a tough situation. You don't want your secret identity going to the world, but at the same time, also, the character changed his life radically when the side lady got caught. When he got caught with the side lady,
yeah,
and everything bad started to happen to her, he changed his life up real fast. And at that point, you have to decide. Yeah, you got a lot of enemies out there, but it's like, what's more important, like your son being in your son's life,
yeah,
or there. Even as I say that, it's not like I don't know. Like, it wouldn't make it clearer by knowing what's at stake. So
true.
Again, the gripes I have with the story are here and there. But the central story and what's the turmoil with the characters, but I'm more sympathetic with the son than anything.
Yeah.
That's the character that I came away feeling the most for, and that's all I got.
Like, if I can I just want to cap off my gripe. One more thing, I thought that Apex Prime at the end of the book got off way too easy, and I think that's what really sold me that I didn't really like the results of it, and I didn't really like. That's why it made me not like Prime even more, because he, as Clarence said, like off camera and everything, is like he kind of talked no jutsu him, and then even though he literally came there to kill him, after his father gave him an explanation, and everything, he was just fine.
He's like, I'll see you tomorrow for breakfast, and you can meet your other family.
Yeah. I left in such a rage-filled haze, I forgot to report my mother's dead corpse to the police,
or take her to the hospital. So,
yeah,
that was my only gripe. But the character could have taken care of that, had some time to sit on it, really think about it, and then approach him with that same ferocity.
Yeah. Like, I don't mind that we're heading towards his son forgiving him. I don't mind that. It didn't need to happen so quickly, because it feels
there's no consequences.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the consequence felt like just coming to my apartment and maybe ransacking some of my things and a little tussle. But yeah, ultimately, it did feel like the payoff came a little sooner.
Maybe we'd have to tune in to figure it out.
Yeah. Do you guys want to move on to the next one, which would be Never Too Late?
Yeah,
I mean, like,
we can.
Yeah, we can.
Unless you guys have more on.
Did you have any more, Clarence?
No, because I was kind of getting ready to jump the gun into this next book.
Okay.
Yeah. Moving on. We're talking about It's Never Too Late by Victor Dandridge and Harold Edge again.
Yes.
This book is takes place after Trouble with Love, and what the character is now convinced that he has to essentially break the rules of reality to undo this grave mistake, as previously we've learned about in the last issue.
Yes,
and this is all about the character essentially going back on what seems to be more of his principles to make this happen, because he's convinced that I need to change this, and not even for it was not even for like his own universe, but like for
it was
another one.
No, it was like he's changing something that he after what happened with his son and everything, he's realized, okay, I need to save a particular person.
Yeah,
and he's going to basically break the rules because he was told that if he used this time travel item and everything, that he's going to basically start some sort of event or some sort of like breakage of reality, what have you. And he swore he was never going to use it until he decides to use it.
He ultimately decides to just do it.
He decides to just do it and everything, which like I honestly, like, what, even though I have gripes with Trouble with Love, I really like this. I like Trouble with Love better than this because it felt like when you present it like that, and I understand the situation they put in with the whole saving this particular person and everything, but it's not worth it. It feels like you kind of going back after you kind of present that this is how you feel, that I'm not going to break this one rule and then immediately break it. And does a setup for pressure for him to actually do it. It'd be different if his son pressured him, like, oh, you can do this? Oh, hell, it would have been cool if his son actually went back in time, But for the guy who, literally was kind of like settled in on whatever is going to happen to this one particular person is going to happen.
Right.
Now you decide to just break all the rules and risk the entire universe for this said person. I don't know.
That's the trouble with love.
Shut up. That's the second one. That was the first one.
I know.
Yeah, but it was a nice plan that he used it anyway.
Like I just think like it was a little contradictory, and maybe I get it, love, what have you, but I don't know.
For me, I did
like if this person's this reckless, then what else is going to be capable of doing?
I would have just liked some. It doesn't feel like there's going to be a lesson learned at the end of the day.
Yeah,
like this is something that you would really sit down and reflect, and it changes who you are, and you went through with that decision, and here's a consequence of one of those decisions.
Mm-hmm.
The answer isn't to just go say, yeah, I can fix it, no big deal.
For me, it almost my thing is that the Trouble with Love set up not a perfect idea for the story going forward, but at the very least it was forward in time, like as in, yeah, this messed up stuff happened, yeah, my mom is where that is.
Mm-hmm.
And but ultimately at the end of it, it came to a way where this could work out.
Yeah.
And then he just decides, well, even though, yeah, that wasn't perfect, I lost, this person, but it seems like I have a bridge to my son. Instead of staying there and kind of working with the reality that you have, because you can't have it both ways.
Yeah.
He decides, okay, well, I'm going to potentially break the world to do this one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And now, not only is that person's life would be in jeopardy, but everyone's potentially. It's a ripple effect that goes beyond a couple years of family drama. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that choice, I feel like somebody else would have made that a lot quicker. Like, no, I can't do that. I gotta work with what I got. And
no, they're blinded by grief.
Yeah, they're blinded by grief, blinded by love, and I get it. I say a lot when I read a comic book where it's like in the beginning, I'm not necessarily like rocking with where they're trying to go. It's like sometimes, depending on who you are or what you're sitting down to read, it's fun to just enjoy the ride and see where it goes. There's clearly a plan to span this thing out to an entire universe, and that's cool. And in the setup, this choice might mean more to the universe than anything, and that's cool what it could set up. But as this story sits by itself, the ask is so much higher than any potential outcome you would have had if you just stuck forward with the cards you've been dealt, without doing the one thing that your character said he wasn't going to do.
Yeah.
So that choice to me seems almost unnecessary, and I don't know. Again, art's pretty, pacing was good. It's just that the choices presented to me thus far for this character is questionable at best.
Yeah, like he leaves like Apex Prime, like you said before, like the art and the pacing of the story and everything's pretty good, but the choices of Apex himself, and especially the fact that he's our lead character, it leaves a lot to be desired. And I wish it was a little bit more complex, or at least for things to happen to him be more complex. Like if he said A, something consequence B is going to happen and stick, instead of he does A but nothing really comes of it, or he does A and then this happens but then I'm just going to go back and fix it without even second guessing, or and then people around him, like the characters around him, don't even, or at least the one character around him, his new girlfriend, doesn't even like tried to stop him.
Yeah, if anything, she says, "I understand that your feelings are complicated. You should go for it."
Like he's grieving. Grieving does not mean like, hey, go do this crazy.
Go wreck the timeline, Barry.
Yeah, go wreck the timeline. I know you're sad, but go do it. Like, I don't know, but yeah, it was. I liked Trouble with Love better than this one, but it's still I
love the design of the gauntlet.
Yeah,
I like
no,
how
that's true.
It's like real easy, but it's really cool. I like it.
The fucking hourglass. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's really cool. Like I said, the designs of these characters and like the stuff in this world and everything.
Oh yeah, the space station and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I like that too. I liked all that. It feels like a really good like springboard for a superhero universe for sure. Like the stuff going on. You've got the usual beats. The Superman character, the threats, which I also do like how the books don't make that stuff seem like it's big of the problem. It's solely focused on this superhero and this family drama that he's having, which is an angle that I don't see too often. But the few people who I've seen attempt it, including Victor, they do a good job at honing in on the emotional part of it to where I want to get past the fights and get back to what the meats of what they were talking about is. So the book does a good job with that, as the previous one did with that department.
Yeah.
So with that being said, did you guys want to move on to Unknown Origins?
Yeah. Yeah, we can go move on to that.
Cool. So Unknown Origins is a
is the same writer, same.
I do believe it is the same writer. It is Victor Dandridge. The artist is different. I'm spacing on it. Oh God, don't hate me.
It's okay.
But yeah, what do you guys think about that one?
Do you want to go first, Clarence?
Yeah, I feel like I didn't get enough of it.
Yeah.
As the story started to unfold, and
I'm sorry, Jacob Newell. Art by Jacob Newell.
Okay.
Story by Victor Dandridge.
Yeah, more things began to happen. I felt like I wanted more, and it was just kind of cut off abruptly.
Yeah. Like, I feel the exact same. Like, I was actually getting into it, and that says a lot, and so I like where this one is going. I think, honestly, this could be the strongest one. It could have been the strongest one of the three comics that was sent to us, but it was just cut off before the real, gooey shit could have happened, I couldn't wait. I feel like this one needed a better cutoff for its first chapter or first volume.
Well, if the purpose of it is to get you to want to get the next one, I don't think it could have gotten a better spot to cut off at.
I'll agree with that. I'll agree with that because it was really one of these short and sweet ones. It seemed like he just wanted to get this one out to tell this really particular story and no need to fluff it with more information. I get what you're saying too.
Yeah,
like it could have hurt to have a better point to cut off.
Mm-hmm.
Like somewhere after the tension. You know what I mean? Like
we built up and it still built up and then stopped. Like that there wasn't really I feel like there wasn't a final payoff for the build up. Right. And and I have to wait for the next issue to finally get that, which maybe that's the point, and I get that, but I guess maybe I'm just being
nitpicky.
Petty, nitpicky when it comes to that, because I just want to get the payoff right now. I want to know what's happening next.
You American, you want now.
I want now, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm kind of rocking with what you're saying. Like there is a sweet spot that to where this book ended, I understand. I got whatever you were trying to get me to get.
Yeah.
But I can also see a place where this story could have landed on a different point without sacrificing literally all this built-up tension that we were building the last couple of pages. Right.
It was only 12 pages though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So a better point to land, as opposed to giving us all this tension. Oh, hey, do this thing. I have to get in, and then getting in, and then literally, hey, what are you doing in here? That's it. Like, you know what I mean? Like somewhere after all that built-up tension, maybe a better landing point, maybe a better payoff. For what I was given, though, like I said, I don't think it could have done its job better than what it did, and I was intrigued by this character's origins, or why he's locked in a basement, why he needs this thing.
Yeah, I'm really interested to know, because he makes himself out to be this hero, and I don't think we can kind of tell.
I think he's addicted.
Like something's going on with that.
You can tell he clearly has no problem manipulating this child. Like, well, people say I didn't do this, but I really need to get in because it's my thing and it made me special and blah blah. Like, we get the sense that he's not giving the full story.
Yeah, exactly.
And that makes one interesting character. And I could have done with a little more of him, with a little bit more of what was trying to be done here. So the art was pretty cool, and I always enjoy a decent black and white comic. I love color, but this one managed to make it work without it. So it's always kudos when you can do something like that. I thought it was probably the most solid when it premise wise and character motivations out of the three. And but yeah, I preferred a Trouble with Love when it comes to
like meat story.
Yeah, like because that also had just enough on it to where we got tension, we got build up, we got understanding, and we got a payoff. Yeah. So I do like where that one went a little bit more, but this feels like narrative wise a little bit more solid than the other two.
Yeah. This one holds a bit more promise to where it's going to go and kind of a more concise direction. Mm-hmm. You have less questions that you have to ask or want to ask to try and fill in the blanks.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So I guess with that being said, did you guys want to? Well, I guess at this point, this is where I would tell you, and I always say this regardless: support the industry, support indie. Support whoever you can.
Yes.
If you like the stories, this is just our opinions. As we do on this podcast, we give the opinions of comics. And if it comes across to you guys and you like it a lot more than we did, you felt more related to the characters and more drawn in by the choices they had to make than we did.
And you want to see more.
That's awesome. Always, always, always support the creators, support industry, support indie. We can do both. So I will say, I do think that altogether, or what they're going, I would say, if you're one of the people who backed this on Kickstarter, if you're enjoying this book, I would recommend it off that alone. It is something new.
Like honestly, from us, we've read. Throughout this podcast, we read so many. Yeah, we've read so many first issues of comics from the big five or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's a big five.
It's a big five. Yeah. So and we've had some stinkers, from these, so-called pinnacles of comic books and everything, and it shows you but these were solid, and I've read a couple comics that are definitely better. I mean, not as good as these, that came from the big ones in the industry. So it shows you you should give indie a chance.
If you're someone who wants a more character driven, when I say character driven, I mean in terms of literal drama. If that's the kind of comics that you want to lean in towards, this is definitely for you. And that is really the only basis I have to recommend it. It's not your typical punch and smash comic book, and which there aren't a lot of those, but it's certainly not that. This is a drama heavy, and it will be the majority of what drives these characters. So if that sounds like something you're in, I recommend it for you.
Yeah, I also recommend these comics, especially for something that you want to see familiar types of characters and situations that you wouldn't normally find them in, because usually a lot of those superhero characters in the comics are busy with other things. We're busy fighting themselves from Earth 81 or some shit. No, this is about family shit that happens to real people, because it's, at the end of the day, these characters, be them superheroes and what have you, are a lot of times are just regular people who have to make regular people choices, no matter how hard they may be. So yeah, I could recommend that on that alone. And
right. Such. Certainly would like to see that segment. Victor seems to know the meat and potatoes that he wants to stick on with this story. Mm-hmm. And if we're chasing that storyline down, whatever you attach to that will be interesting along the way. But if you chase that storyline down alone, I'd be interested to see where that goes.
Same.
I mean, you guys, what else really is there to say without repeating yourself? And I am curious to see where some of this stuff is going to go, and to say that it didn't hook me in to read through it in the first place, because I kind of flew through these. and that's not a bad thing. That's a really good thing.
Those giant eyes fly through everything you read.
That's right. They're like flies.
They call him, instead of the thinker, they call him the reader.
The looker.
The looker.
It sounds like a pervert.
Yeah.
How about you look, boy?
Stop. This was a nice read, and I probably would need a little bit more for a hardcore, pass or fail type of thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm still kind of on the fence. I'm in the middle.
Okay. I get that. Well, hey, that means that he's willing to give you more of a try to finally get, an actual full view opinion.
Right. I always have a well-rounded idea of comics. If you know the type of comics that you like to read, you'll know whether or not this one's for you. I would give it a try regardless, just in case. Might catch you off guard. And that's always what I'm going to say about indie people when they're starting out. And hopefully they get to see their vision. I mean, as a creator myself, I would like to get a chance to tell my full story. So I would say the same in the regard.
We're right here.
Yep.
Yes. So with that being said, guys, I think that covers it for our review of the Vantage Comics storyline so far, and that has been the end of our comics discussion.
Keep your eyes peeled for them.
Yep. Shout out to Vantage Comics. I think it's just Vantage Comics.
Yeah.
Right. And Victor, thanks for reaching out to us and sending us the copies of those comics and everything. Hey, if you had any more, send it our way. We'll give it a review, give her a look, Also, if I'm not sure if the Kickstarter is still going on, I'm not sure if they have any more stretch goals.
I don't know. But if they do, please follow Victor Dandridge on Instagram and follow and support that Kickstarter.
Exactly. Yeah.
So with that being said, that is, like I said, the end of our comic book discussion, and keep it. We're trying to get more of these out. I know it's been a minute since we've done some of these, but we've got some in the pipe, and wait for Strange Adventures to wrap up. And we're gonna have some stuff to talk about. We got stuff coming up.
We got some stuff.
But until next time, nerds.
All right. See you later.
Stay thirsty.
Bye.